You do so with an open heart, the unexpected. You embark on journeys to
Ngacishe ngatibambelela kucala kunathe ama-ARVs. Ngesaba imvuka lesoloko kukhulunywa ngayo. Sekuphela umnyaka ngawaqala. Solo siphethene kahle. Ngikhumbula kahle ukuthi angimelanga ukuthi ngize ngigule. Noku nomhla solo ngingumcemane. Ngiyatichenya ngalesinqumo. Ngitawuqhubeka ngwanathe ngikwethembeka. Solo ngime kuso sinqumo sami. Ngigrand, ngisukumele impilo yami.
Kuva kabandi shayela 1212.
Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondumiso Vilagata alongside Nomagcabiso Kambule, and here are your top stories. The Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, says his office has embarked on an exercise to update all legislations and policies that govern the operations of the office. The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, says the Kingdom of Eswatini is committed to eradicate statelessness in line with the United Nations Commission for Refugees. The Minister of Health, Lizingosi, says the Kingdom of Eswatini will relax COVID-19 restrictions, which include wearing of face masks after the country has reached herd immunity. The news. The Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, has informed the Deputy Prime Minister's Portfolio Committee in Senate that his office has embarked on an exercise to update all legislations and policies that govern the operation of the office. Masuku says all they intend to do is to improve service delivery.
Appearing before the Deputy Prime Minister's Senate Portfolio Committee in Parliament, the Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, informed the committee that his office has embarked on an exercise that seeks to harmonize all legislations that governs the operations of his office. He says this is in an effort to ensure that they improve service delivery so that eMaswati can be assisted adequately by the office.
Lesehhovisi lesisebenza ngayo kulomsebenzi yokwakha live. Lesakufaka ekhathi ubuketa umsebenzi disaster, umthetho we-disaster wa 2006 lesifuna ukuthi sale uhambelana netimiso temhlaba ngoba si ngemalunga atoleti indzaba emhlabeni siphinde silungise netindzaba letikhulumisa inhlalakahle lesithi phecelezi national social assistance policies nalokuningi-ke la lokufaka imikhombandlela nje yokunakelela abantwana nokubuka lemithetho lesithi ngema-regulations kusale sikhona ngoba indlu iparlamente selasiphasisela sichubeke-ke nayo.
The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, says the Kingdom of Eswatini is committed to eradicate statelessness in line with the United Nations Commission for Refugees. The minister was speaking at the Hilton Garden Inn in Babane during a meeting with officials from the UNHCR office.
In 2021, the Minister of Health in the Kingdom of Eswatini started a mopping exercise where they were going to all the 59 constituencies in the kingdom to register all people who did not have certain nationality documents ranging from birth certificates, national identity cards, marriage and death certificates. During that exercise, the ministry came across people whom they referred to as stateless people. Hence, they raised an alarm with the UNHCR office in South Africa for assistance. Speaking at the Hilton Garden in Babane during a meeting with officials from the UNHCR office, the Minister for Home Affairs in the Kingdom, Princess Lindiwe, said the country is committed to eradicate statelessness in line with the 2024 UNHCR agenda.
This initiative has received a huge response from members of the public who come in large numbers to register their vital events. Our plan is to take these services to each and every chiefdom. However, the scope of the project is proving to be much more extensive than initially anticipated, and therefore we have realized that it cannot be completed without support from our development partners. We will continue to scale up efforts to protect and support refugees and all persons of concern.
Lena Zulu, who are representing the UNHCR office, applauded the Kingdom of Eswatini for being the first country in the region to ratify the 1956 and 1961 Statelessness Convention.
While great strides have been made to tackle statelessness globally, millions are still without a nationality. To achieve the I Belong campaign goals of eradicating statelessness by 2024, we must redouble our efforts in the remaining 2 years. Let me commend the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini for the following. First and foremost, the political will, acknowledging the problem of statelessness or the risk of statelessness and its devastating impact on individuals and communities. You are the first country, the Kingdom of Eswatini, the first country in Southern Africa to accede to both the 1954 and 1961 statelessness conventions in 1999. And you remain one of 4 state parties to both conventions in the region.
Globally, there are about 10 million stateless people, and yet the world is left with only 2 years to eradicate statelessness. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Linton Gule in Babane.
The Minister for Finance, Neil Reichenberg, has tabled in Parliament communication from the House of Assembly Appropriation Bill 2022. During the debate, Senator Sylvia Mthethwa calls on the ministry to scrap off either VAT or pay-as-you-earn.
The Minister of Finance, Neil Reichenberg, tabled the communication from the House of Assembly Appropriation Bill 2022. He mentioned that hiring freeze has played a massive role in decreasing government wage bill.
In 2020-2021, the wage bill is projected to decrease to 7.3 billion emalangeni, a reduction of 2.1%. This is further projected to decrease in 2022-2023 by another 1.7%. All of these numbers exclude the pension contributions. The hiring freeze has been successful in muting the growth of the wage bill.
Senators raised different views concerning the budget speech, with Senator Sylvia Mthethwa saying the minister should consider scrapping the VAT or pay-as-you-earn, as the Maswati end up paying a lot of money in form of taxes.
Any possibility of scrapping the pay-as-you-earn, now that we have already introduced VAT? I've been made aware that countries which have introduced the VAT have either reduced the pay-as-you-earn or abolished it completely.
Sivile kunemsinjwanyana ngazuthi indvuna iyatikhulisa kusebenza kepha ngalapha iyatemuka ngokuthi seyitawukhuphula phezulu.
Ngicela senisichazele nebefinance le wage bill okukhulunywa ngayo yini? Umholo webantu nangabe bahola, nangabe bathasa ukunciphisa, ngubani lo futhi awunciphise? Nalolo ukhulisa ngubani? Ukhulisa kubobani? Ngicela lokho sisebisichazele. Then sitawuphumula nakuwayana kwabo khola lenikhuluma ngabo mebhuku abakekho yonke. Ngoba labo khola lenikhuluma ngabo babona uzona kwalapho kunemali.
Uliqiniso ngokuthi siyenyuselwa ngalo 3%. Phindze futhi kube liqiniso kakhulu. Kuthi mina kulokwenyuka kwami kwa 3%. Mhlambe kukhinyabeteka kwami kucabanga ukuthi angeke ngisakhona mhlawumbe kuyodlala phespe. Mhlawumbe setawufunanya lo sale mbuka ukuthi angithenge i-chicken dust. Noma ngeke ngife ngalo 3%. Ngeja vele ngidawukhinyabeteka. Ngeja kufa ngeke. Kani lower 4,000 le relief la kayitholako. Kuthi yena akasabhadali leyo tax. Utawukhanza ukuthi so utawukhona kungahambi ngetinyawo ayemsebentini. So utawukhona kumbe ukugibela ibhasi.
At the time of compiling the report, the minister was yet to give responses. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
Minister of Health Liz Ngosi says the Kingdom of Eswatini will relax COVID-19 restrictions, which include wearing of face masks after the country has reached herd immunity. The minister said this when receiving support worth over $6 million from the U.S. Initiative for Global Vaccine Access. This support will assist Eswatini in upscaling its vaccination exercise.
Some people have been asking when Eswatini will relax COVID-19 restrictions, including doing away with face masks. Minister of Health Liz Ngosi says it all depends on vaccination.
People ask me every day, when are we going to take the masks off? When are you going to relax? It's like, it's up to me. When are you going to relax all these restrictions? And I have the same answer every day. Well, when we reach herd immunity. But really is when every one of us is vaccinated and safe. And when every one of us is safe, when each person is safe, then we can all be safe.
Minister Ngosi was speaking when receiving support from the U.S. Initiative for Global Vaccine Access on Monday. United States Ambassador to Eswatini, Jean Maloney, explains about how the $6 million worth of assistance will help Eswatini.
Through the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, we're providing an additional $5 million in the coming weeks. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, is contributing $1 million. In addition to deploying technical experts. This is in addition to U.S. government contributions to helping Eswatini vaccinate the country against COVID-19, to date totaling $3.5 million. This is in the form of funding from several U.S. agencies, including USAID, CDC, the State Department, the Department of Defense, and the U.S. Peace Corps. But funding is only one part of the U.S. government's contribution. The Global Vax Initiative builds on long-standing health partnerships forged in the fight against HIV through the U.S. government's PEPFAR program.
Peace Corps Chief Executive Officer Carol Spahn explains more about what Global Vax is.
As part of this effort, the Initiative for Global Vaccine Access, or Global Vax, is a critical program to advance President Biden's extraordinary commitment to donate more than 1.2 billion vaccine doses around the world by the end of 2020. I'm very pleased to share that Eswatini is one of the first countries that will receive Global Vax supplemental surge support. These additional resources will provide a catalyst to Eswatini's work to ensure that COVID-19 vaccines reach the people who need them.
Minister Ngosi said Eswatini might reach 70% vaccination by the end of the year. For now, just over 29% of Eswatini have fully vaccinated. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Gianni Msibi Mbabane.
The Minister for Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says the country has recorded an increase in food production. The minister said this when briefing members of the Ministry of Agriculture Portfolio Committee in Senate when debating the ministry's performance report for the year 2022-2023 financial year.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says despite the increase in agriculture production, departments under the ministry also performed well.
Agriculture namasimo beselikhuni kepha nje kube nema-increase cishe kuma-production kungabe kusembileni kube ne-increase, for example nje umbila eminyakeni lophelile besikhiqide 86,547 metric tons, kepha-ke kulo mnyaka lesisuka kuwo sifikile 100,042 metric tons. Kwaba nemikhiqido lo wenyukile kuma-vegetables, kwaba nemikhiqido lo wenyukile kuma-fruits. So ngiko-ke ngithi generally nje kube ne-increase etiko kusebelekile noma simo besiphambene nathi, kepha umnyaka ubonakele.
Minister of Agriculture Senate Portfolio Committee applauds the ministry for the impressive work and further pleads with the ministry to allow eMaswati to use farms that are lying idle.
Lama plus lawa ke ale emakhaya akasebenzi namhlanje. Hanini lama plus ngoba suka le nasuka ngidiphethe akunabantu. Nalokuthi ke ngimane ngiyasho nje lo singema plus ngoba inzawo naseyila ekhaseveni ungeke kwasoluthi plus vele inzawo eMaswati le.
Natural resources besinaye wasiniketha lamaplazi ungabonakala nokuthi kwabobani kwadliwa njani kwayiwaphi ahleleleni kulabantu bobani bona solo kukhulunywa ngama-squatters even lenkosi kude squatter bale edlivele lenkosi wonke oliswati lalapha alisuba squatter.
Labanye solo bayakhalakhala labakhalakhala khona ukuthi ungathi bantu belitiko abefikeli kubo sebafuna abantu kulima ngempela ngokulahleka kwemisebenzi nangokubabede kwemisebenzi evini sebafuna abantu kulima kuphela bafuna lokuthi basondelele.
The Minister of Agriculture is set to reconstruct boundaries as means to curb livestock theft, and the ministry will also embark on the construction of the Mkhonvongwavuma Dam. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
Ministry of Tinkhundla and Development Senate Portfolio Committee says Tinkhundla system of governance should be introduced in schools. The Minister for Tinkhundla and Development, David Ngamphalala, says chiefs should interview members of parliament aspirant whether they support Tinkhundla system or not, so once elected they don't change tunes.
The Minister of Tinkhundla and Development Senate Portfolio Committee believes that the ministry is the backbone of government, so it should be allocated a large sum as compared to other ministries. The committee says people should be taught about Tinkhundla system of governance in schools.
Angaba mncane lo mntwana ngempela akade. Angaba semkhatsini lo mntwana ngempela akade. Angaba mdzala ke vele uyati.
Ngiyiqoqoqa abantwana. Banana zingikhala ngathi nje usaba semgwabeni abekhona. Ngathi ngakhuluma mina ngathi ibita kusungakasimelani. La emkampeni bathi babeshifana manje wathi ngakasimelani lapho. Masinayi le moto akuthi itena lo mkakhe.
Angathi litiko imfihlo yalo lengaba nalo kusheshisa basilungiselele ukuthi bantu abethu badi ngale Tinkhundla. Bantu abethu abadi 99.9% ngale Tinkhundla. Fana nokuthi siyababamba nje abadi mbamba.
Nawuthi iconza Tinkhundla dibuyisa similo kumuntu wathi ukuthi live liphethwe kunabo babe boshifu kunawo onke ama structures la khona ngithi ke sihlalo sihloniphekile isengidivile timbunga tibeka kungaba kusho nje ukuthi awu le mali lengena kuleli tiko ngikhanzo ngathi incane.
The Minister of Tinkhundla and Development, David Ngamphalala, speaks about the importance of capacitating eMaswati about Tinkhundla system of governance.
Iyadinga ukuthi njengoba timbonga tithinta indaba lenje kuna EBC lone mandate lenye naye yokukhomba kumkhombandlela athi sikhetha luhlobo lolunjani lwebantu. Akangefiki-ke naye iBC ngoba lokakhona enyalo nje siyambona 2023. Akube khona lokho masuka lelukhethwe kube into kuyafundiswa nje ukuthi luhlobo lokufanele silukhethe lwemuntu unalo. Nalokuthi iBC unayo le policy yohlobo lwemuntu mase lukhethe lukhulunywa ngetinto. Luluhlobo lolunje. Kube sonke besingaphuma siyele siveni live lityawo nanyalo tyawobuya live.
The minister says security will be tightened in all Tingundla centers, and this will include the installing of CCTV cameras. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
The Ministry of Health has officially launched the tuberculosis sequencing program. Director of Health Services Dr. Vusi Makakula says this will help the country to detect resistant TB early and treat it. In this, the country has in place the necessary medical equipment to use.
After seeing that some cases of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis go undetected in the Kingdom of Eswatini, government has taken a new approach to detecting the disease, which killed over 1.5 million people globally in 2020. This new program has been launched by Director of Health Dr. Vusi Makakula, who explained more about it.
TB sequencing, genomic sequencing. Lebubuqwephesha losebungetulu lekuthi sikhona ukuphikha omulona le TB lena lesikwangwabele iTB lena le khanza ukuthi asikhoni yalo kuyithola ngale machine lekhona. So lona ngumshini lomusha iplatform lensha esisayisebenzisa ukuthi isheshe ipick-up kungasali umuntu lotawusala ngaphandle angalashwa kanti unalesifo se-TB lesikwangwabele.
Having the equipment to detect the disease is one thing, and having the know-how to use it is another. Dr. Makakula explains about the training of health officers on how to use this new equipment.
So this battery kube part of lokuthi sithole lo sito zithola emaveni eJalimane, eTaliyane, sisebenza naye WHO, sisebenza ngaye nawe. Phindze kwasekwafundishwa le advisory committee. Le nyona i-clinical advisory committee letawubukisisa ukuthi sisebenza njani emaswati onke akhona kuzange ngathi ngakhumbula lama-TORs akhona onke kanti nje ngiyona nje itawubuka clinically and technically ukuthi uhamba kahle yini lo isindele ama-report sitawubona.
Dr. Makakula says although the spread of the disease is dropping in Eswatini, they want to do all they can to end it. This is in line with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which speaks in depth about issues of health, including ending TB by 2030. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, Mbabane.
Dear viewers, and now take a look at our financial updates.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, Royal Leopard captain Muzi Dlamini believes that despite losing all their CAF Confederations Cup games thus far, it has helped all the club's players to be able to market themselves to different clubs on the African continent. Dlamini also believes that the experience they have gained so far will assist them in defending the MTN Premier League title. Dlamini was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports before their next game against Al Ittihad from Libya this coming Sunday in Libya.
Leopard are representing the country in the CAF Confederation Cup, where they're in Group B. So far, in 4 games played, Leopard has failed to register a single point. Team captain Muzi Dlamini believes the exposure of taking part in CAF games is one way players get a chance to market themselves to different African clubs who are watching the games.
Players are marketing themselves. Now lapha eAfrica baning labakubuka ma scouts manning and Lama games are televised.
Dlamini also believes their current performance in the M10 League is positively influenced by their appearance in continental competition.
I think
Dlamini says CAF games will help them to defend their M10 League this season based and judged on how they are always playing whenever they're from a CAF game. This is not to forget that the national team Semnigati also will benefit.
Experience learning.
Leopards' next CAF game will be against Libyan side Al Ittihad this coming Sunday in Libya. In the reverse fixture, Al Ittihad defeated Leopard 2-1 at Mobile Stadium over a week ago. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabisum Sonera, Babane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick look at today's headlines. The Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, says his office has embarked on an exercise to update all legislations and policies that govern the operations of the office. The Minister for Home Affairs, Prince Lindiwe, says the Kingdom of Eswatini is committed to eradicate statelessness in line with the United Nations Commission for Refugees. The Minister of Health, Liz Ngozi, says the Kingdom of Eswatini will relax COVID-19 restrictions, which include wearing of face masks after the country has reached herd immunity. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.